Hi everyone. Sort of want to recap on things that are going on. Well, obviously I'm the only one interested in myself, but I wanted to record this video because I think it's healthy for me to sort of expound on just different things that are happening in my life. Because, for example, when you're always internalizing everything, it's just things don't always turn out the way you want it, and then I don't know, when it doesn't come out in voice form or in sound form, it's just it might be kept, you might get resentful for no reason and things like that. So anyway, right now it's October 9th, 2016, although it doesn't feel that way because with respect to any other semester that I've been in college, I've had the ability to spend maybe 10 minutes getting to class, right? Maybe, but well, if you don't count the summer 2015, in which case I did have to go there, but it wasn't for every class, and it wasn't. It was only for about a month. I think it was more like 2 months, but a month and a half. So anyway, because now what I'm doing is I'm actually living in Hayward, going to school in UC Berkeley, and so it's taking about an hour and 10 minutes just to get to class, and that's it's not a big deal in the long run if you don't think that every minute of your time is supposed to be used wisely. So, but that is actually the case for me. Every moment of every day has to be used to process some information having to do with the class. And if you don't do that, you end up screwing up with respect to the curve unless you're some really crazy genius who just so happens to have been able to listen to their parents their whole entire life. And then now they're bitching and they're a serf at the school, at the university, just towards the GSI and the professor. And so you do have those people, and a lot of people like that in this case. I happen to be the exception to that, except for I don't fall under the category of genius. Don't think I am. I do. Haven't had my IQ tested or anything, but can't. Doesn't make any sense to call myself any smarter than anyone else. And that might have something to do with the fact that it's evident that I don't suffer as much as geniuses do. I've seen from what I've been able to tome and or not tome, but what do they call that, glean over and on the internet and on YouTube and things like that, as the geniuses are very they're festering all the time, they're rankling, and that could be for small stimuli. So yeah, I'm almost ready. So anyway, so that's the problem. The problem is that I've been having is that the fact that I have to keep going back and forth from Berkeley to from Hayward to Berkeley and back again, and that's 2 hours and 10 minutes or 20 minutes total, and that makes it hard to study on the BART, and that basically makes the time that could be used to process information effectively so small that it's almost as if I'm incorporating partying in my schedule on the weekends. Might as well be living in Berkeley and partying on the weekends because I would get about the same results. So it's becoming evident right now that it's not a good thing, because I'm even getting a 60% in my first exam, and that's relative to the curve. I'm still pretty low. I mean, the curve was maybe 80%. I think that was the mean. It was about 80%, 81%, and the standard deviation wasn't that great either. I think it was about 4% or so, 5%. So I was well outside the curve, the standard, within the standard deviation. So I was not even. I mean, maybe I passed If you kind of round it, maybe I passed, but the idea is that, yeah, I did pretty bad on it, but that's not a big deal. The whole idea is that I'm trying to focus on the big picture. So, like during the summer, I thought I was done. I thought by the time the summer ended, I'd be done with all this finance stuff and all this GRE crap. But I'm still going through it as I was during the summer, or just whenever I have time. I feel I have time. So, for example, on Sundays usually is the only days I actually have time to go through it, because there comes a point where I'm trying to study my normal content, and you kind of come at I sort of come at a stop or block. My effort is thwarted by the fact that I can't ask anyone for help, or I can't do anything, and it's like I might get so far with information, or I might think to myself, well, if I study this information right now, I'm going to spend way too much time on it, and it may just not be worth it, because I'd rather focus on the big picture. It's because this is my last semester, so it's like, if I'm going to make this last semester worthwhile, why focus on trying to go insane for academics when it's going to stop? It's just temporary, right? And when it's going to stop, and then at that point, you're going to try to find a job. I'm going to try to find a job, and or do something with entrepreneurship. I don't know quite yet, but maybe probably a combination of both. But once that happens, it's like all this pain, suffering just to do well in classes becomes pointless, because why are you trying to become skilled at something when it doesn't result, when the cap involved with doing Berkeley level, becoming Berkeley level ready is basically 10 years down the road. So in other words, sure, like I can try to become better skilled at doing this as if I would get straight A pluses in my classes, but that is equivalent to somebody who's already had 10 years of experience in their job. So I find it extremely ridiculous that I would actually strive to try to get 100% or do extremely well in my classes when the immediate time, or the immediate surroundings would involve, and not just that, but just like a relative, because the idea is my time horizon is such a way that it's probably about 5 years from now, is about 5 years with respect to my goals and everything that I want in life. So, but if I were to say, let's say if I were to have a time horizon of 10 or 15 years with respect to my goals, right? And I would try to use education right now for that. Well, what would happen is I would be missing everything else. So, because as soon as I'm done with school, all this stuff cannot be used right away. And I would be missing everything else. So the more intermediate skills that you need, I don't even have yet. So I'm thinking, why not invest in those than other skills that you might use in 10, 15 years from now, which is what they're trying to teach you at Berkeley. You see how ridiculous it is? So the skills that I mean, but what I mean by the skills that are more geared for me graduating and using them in an effective way is more so related to finances, to managing your life, managing your time at work, and then also being able to communicate these things. Like they have nothing to do with the exam scores that I get. You know what I mean? So there's nothing wrong. I think there's nothing wrong with doing bad this semester as long as I pass. I don't care if I get out with a 2.5 GPA. I don't really care. I went to a top university. As far as I'm concerned, if somebody doesn't accept me in their company, it's like it would be have to do because they don't see that I have the potential to of other skills, and so it's like if that's and the other thing too is anything related to a business that I would want to operate or run or be involved in a I guess a higher position that might involve a 15-year time horizon would also have to get it started and to get it working well and established would have nothing to do with this crap. And unless you're you would have to make that business established already. So that's just another reason why doing bad in these technical classes is not a big deal. Although it might make me think, oh yeah, you're not so smart. No, you're just not. I'm just not a genius. So and then also I'm also not as much of a serf, I guess you could say, as everyone else, because on top of being a genius, everyone is trying to at Berkeley is trying to just go inside their GSI. They're like, is it okay if I turn in my test on a day late, or is it okay if I make this little thing, you know what I mean? So they're asking all these little small ass questions, and as if they're these really small people, and then they're talking to big people. It's like obsequiousness and servileness, and I just can't be bothered to do anything like that. I did have to, because out of desperation, ask the GSI if I could turn in my lab late, because I just could not. I had to study for an exam for that week. It wasn't easy to incorporate that time into doing both, because if I did both, then I might do really bad on the exam. It's like that at Berkeley. So the whole point is that I see my exam score as just not being a freaking as not being so much of a servile person, or obsequious, or just sucking up, or anything like that. What's another way to say it? I don't know. I forgot. There's another way, the less known way of saying this. And I forgot what the word was, but it's like where you're. I forgot what the word was, but one of my teachers used it, and I thought, what is he saying? I didn't know what he meant, and then they're like, oh yeah, that's just another way of saying you're sucking up to someone. So I'll think of it later, I guess. But I don't remember the word, but I thought it was a funny way to put it. Anyway, thanks for watching. And by the way, I might do these vlogs every once in a while, but thanks for watching.